What's going on, guys? Don't forget we live stream every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Full 4K quality. If I can, you can. Subscribe for more. And today, we're going to talk about Final Fantasy. We're going to talk about the series. We're going to talk about the game that started it all. We're going to talk about the game that I started playing, which is actually this one right here. This is the first Final Fantasy game that I've ever played in my entire life. Even though when I started a YouTube channel, I was able to stream this game again on a remastered version just for you guys, and I was happy enough to be able to put it on the channel for you guys. Even though the quality wasn't where I have it right now, I was happy enough to bring it on the channel to you guys. This game right here is the exact first Final Fantasy I ever played. I was about, I don't know, 15, 14 years old. I was literally maybe in the 7th grade when I was introduced to this game. And I said to myself, holy cow, what a game changer. The story just had me in a different environment. I couldn't believe at the time, for the graphics, of course, that I was playing this type of game, not knowing exactly what it was that I was even playing. But the more I was in school, I couldn't wait to go home and play this game right here. This game right here is probably my favorite game of all time. Just the obstacle courses and stuff that you had to do.
That's ass.
The
I
story,
totally jumped.
the side quests,
Final Fantasy
the music. It was just something that blew my mind. So after a year of creating my YouTube channel, I said to myself, I have to stream this live. You guys asked for me to do it, and I actually wanted to do it. So these are just bits and pieces of the game that I streamed on my channel that you can actually check for yourself. This game to me will always be the GOAT. The fighting combat was something different, something that I had to learn, something that I had to realize what it was that I was doing.
And then we'll go to
the commands, the materia, just the different enemies that they had. And I had to realize what each tactic was actually doing. It was just a mind-blowing game at the time. Of course now, 28 years actually later, I realized what I'm doing, well, better now what I'm doing than I was back in the day. But the whole open format, the open world, is just something so different. For anybody who is an RPG or junior RPG fan, should definitely be on this game. You should have this game in your collection, especially if you love RPGs. And if you just want a good game with a great story, great music and characters, look at this, open world. Just to be able to run around from town to town, city to city was just something incredible.
I'm sorry. Definitely want
to visit different villages, to understand the story plot more, to get introduced to better characters. It was just a game that blew my mind. And is always going to be my favorite game of all time. One of my favorite series of all time, and I do have a couple of series that I can count on my fingers that I could possibly say to myself, 100%. These are the type of games that I've got to play. These are the type of games that I love. The selection of picking out the characters that you want, getting your team strong, but at the same time creating your party and having everyone to have the special abilities, to have the same abilities, to be able to fight in battle is just one of the greatest things that I was able to do. The boss fights were just something different. Something that you didn't see back in the day. For instance, this final boss fight right here, when this move was applied on me, I was literally saying to myself, I'm gonna die. It's over. there's no way in hell that I'm going to ever survive this. But it was just graphics and things that were happening in the 90s that don't usually happen. It was just a game that was very addictive. Like I said, I was in school and couldn't wait. 7th grade, I believe. And I graduated in 2021, so in the 7th grade, we're talking 96? Yeah, 1996. When this game was released, 96, 97. These are the games that just blew my mind, and it was one of the first games that I actually had on PlayStation. I think I had like 2 or 3 games at the time when I first got my PlayStation. And this game right here, I put so many hours trying to build up my characters, trying to build up my weaponry, trying to get my armor up, trying to get my magic spells, fighting boss fights that I couldn't beat, to go back in and try. I actually beat this game probably 5 times ever in my life. And it's a game that took many hours, 80 hours, 60 hours, 40 hours. Even this playthrough that I put on my channel, I think got about 30 to 35 hours. So it was definitely a game to me that I loved, grew up with, and is always going to be one of my favorites. So when I was actually able to play the remake live on my channel, which is the exact same game, but now with a brighter, stronger, better graphics system, I said to myself, I have to put it on the channel again. Then again comes the remake. Years later, 28 years later for me, as this is footage right here with obviously better quality, like I said, I had to put it on my channel. And this is Final Fantasy Rebirth, Part 2 of the remake that they made. And just the graphics here alone. The stuff that they added. The little stuff that they added. Like the little towns that you can go into, like you could have gone into in the OG. Now it's just times 100. It's just incredible. The fighting mechanics, they stepped it up. They stepped it up to 1,000. Adding more abilities to pick, more abilities to select. At first, it was a little bit confusing to try to figure out what is what. But after you put countless hours into it, you start to develop a mode of what you're doing. You start to build a relationship with these characters, and it's just the stuff that they added that you weren't able to do that you can now do. And of course, the stuff that you were able to do that they picked it up and built it up even more was just incredible. But this is not a video about Final Fantasy Remake or Rebirth. This is a video about Final Fantasy games that I have played, that I have beaten, that I now bring to the channel, and games that I want to play on the channel from the series. Another game that I played growing up, Final Fantasy Tactics. This to me, I feel was the second game in the series that I ended up playing. Even though it's not a numbered series and it was kind of like a spin-off, War of the Lion was probably one of the greatest Final Fantasy games I ever played. That whole checkerboard maneuver. If you have not played this game, you have to put it in your repertoire. It is just an incredible game with an incredible story. And this is one of the games from the series that I beat. So again, this is not a video about Rebirth. This is a video about Final Fantasy games that I've beaten and loved, and Final Fantasy games that I want to play and bring to you on the channel. Then came Final Fantasy 16. I gotta tell you, a lot of people don't like the game, but I kind of enjoyed it. It was something different. It had that Braveheart type of element to it. So I said to myself, hey, I got to stream this on the channel. So I definitely put it on. And it was a game that I had to get used to. The fighting mechanics I had to get used to. But for me, the story in this game sold it for me. I love the flashbacks, which gave you an idea of what actually happened. This game was based more on summon materia. Each character had a special ability, and it was only certain characters. It was like 6 or 8 people that held this power. And each power was to unleash a summon that they had. which I thought was actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. But progressing more in the story made me want to continue this game, and this was a very, very long game. Or at least to me. I felt at times that it just wouldn't end. And it wasn't that it was stuff that I didn't like and enjoy doing. Don't get me wrong, there was millions of side quests. There was bounties, there was activities to do, there was main story quests. So it was cool, but it was a lot. It was a lot, and just the story alone is very, very long. So I needed you guys to understand that if you haven't played this game. But I think you should, because it's definitely a game in the series that I believe you should play. Then, of course, we can't forget Crisis Core. Oh, man. This game right here is definitely another one of the best games that I've played. I didn't play it when it was released on the PSP. I was told about it by several people. And
you know me, baby.
When I saw that it was out for the PS5, I said to myself, I gotta get this game. I'm gonna play it. Let's see what it's about. Let's see if I'll enjoy it. It's a different timeline. You know what? I'm glad that I played it, because
half hour left in the stream.
If I didn't play this game, I would have been kind of pissed off at Final Fantasy Remake and Rebirth, because they bring this story and put it together. This is literally what happens before Final Fantasy VII. So I had to play this.
Get ourselves a
yeah,
beer.
Zach was a little bit of a faggy, I don't know, kind of guy. But I guess he grew on me. I guess I learned to, I don't want to say love him, but enjoy him.
Talk to me like.
But the story, the music, the fighting, the boss fights, I can't lie, it was actually good. So I'm glad that I put Crisis Core in my repertoire. And then we got the game that started it all, Final Fantasy.
It is absolutely insanely ridiculous.
It's funny because Square Enix now, huge company, great franchise, and definitely
Final Fantasy 1 in
a
general
company where if they're coming out with a game, I'm more than likely going to play it. They are the GOAT.
Like, they're just going to drag out a little bit, so
they were about to go out of business, and they released this game as their final game. And oh my god, I'm glad that they did, because it made a series that I love. I never played Final Fantasy 1. I heard that, you know, if you like the series so much, and, you know, you like Final Fantasy 7, you like Final Fantasy Tactics, you like Crisis Core, you like Remake, you have to go back and play this game. This is the game that set it off. This is the game that you have to play. And now that I notice that they have a remastered pixel version of this game for the PlayStation, yeah, I'm going to bring this game to the channel, and this is definitely one of the Final Fantasy games that I have not played and want to play, and I'm going to bring it to you guys live on the channel.
Have a character that dies, what you need to do.
Then, of course, we got Final Fantasy VIII. I purchased this game on release. Played it for a couple hours. Never really got out of the school area, which is pretty much like the beginning of the game. But I don't know, it's definitely a game on my list that I still always wanted to play and beat full completion. So this is definitely a game that I'm going to bring to the channel for you guys that I want to complete. This is one of the Final Fantasy games that I need under my belt. Like I said, we have so many Final Fantasy games, 1 through 16, plus the spin-offs, but I'm only going to stream, play, and beat the games that I feel will mean something to me. Not every single Final Fantasy game is going to hit, but for me at least, this is definitely a game that I'm going to put in my repertoire. This is definitely a game that I feel that I should play, and this is definitely a game that I think you guys should consider if you haven't. Yes, it's got the open world atmosphere where you can walk around and kind of do things like Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, the fighting is a little bit different. I wasn't a fan of the junctioning that you gotta do with the summons, and you gotta build up their points to try to get them to be strong and stuff like that. And then the magic, you gotta steal all types of magic that you want to use. So I wasn't really about that, and a lot of people lost interest just being able to do that. But like I said, it's definitely a game that I want to put under my belt. It's definitely a game that I want to play, and I want to stream it live on the channel. Now that I have a YouTube channel, I want to be able to bring these games to you guys. I want to be able to diversify and play all types of games, as I've been trying to do for you guys. You guys asked for it, I do it, absolutely. And this hands down is a game that I've played since launch, like I said, for a couple hours, and hands down is a game that I need to play, I need to beat, and I'm going to bring it live to the channel. Then we got Final Fantasy IX. Now this is a game that I didn't purchase on release. I got it down later in the years. And not recently I downloaded it, and it was something about this game that I always wanted to play. It had that, even though all Final Fantasy games are fantasy, but this game to me had that wizardry, like, I don't know, I felt like I gotta play this game. This is definitely a game that I feel that I would probably enjoy. So it's like I'm on the fences with this one because I'm not quite sure really about the story and stuff like that. A lot of people tell me it's a great game. A lot of people tell me, So this is definitely a game I'm going to check out. I'm going to put my time into it. I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know if I'm really going to do much of side quests. I'm just going to try to do what I can to complete it and bring it live to the channel for you guys. Final Fantasy IX, I'm looking forward to bringing it to you guys. I'm looking forward to playing it. And we'll see what the thoughts are at the time of playing this game.
Because we need to.
So yeah, I got a great YouTube channel. I love all the games that I put together. I put together shorts. I put together video content. I put together live streams. I got so many playlists in just a little over a year. So I definitely want to put the Final Fantasy games in these catalogs, in these playlists for you guys. And these are the games that I feel I want to play and bring to your channel. So let me know, guys, what Final Fantasy games have you played? What Final Fantasy games have you beaten? Which ones do you want to play? Which ones do you need to beat? Please let me know. And if also, please don't forget, if I can, you can. And I do this for you guys. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so you know every single time that I am on. I do this for you guys. If I can, you can.
Let's be free now.